Afternoon, St. Mary's School for the Deaf Board of Trustee members. I am very honored and excited to be here with you this afternoon to share with you some data that we recently collected from our incident report forms. Before we begin looking at data, I'd like to introduce myself. My name is Carol Clark Osach, and I have been the secondary science teacher here at St. Mary's for the past 16 years. Before we begin looking at the data collected, I would like to share with you our plan for this afternoon. We would like to look at the reports collected from the past 3 years to determine where the incidents are occurring on campus, the type of incident that is occurring, and the location of where these incidents are occurring. Then I would like to share with you an action plan on how we can address the incidents that are occurring on the campus. What we are viewing now is the Student Incident Report form. This is where teachers are able to document what has happened. As you can see, there are several drop-down options on this form. Today, we will be reviewing data that has been collected in the student behavior section of this form, as well as the location. There are also several other key aspects to this form, that being where teachers can enter valuable information on describing the incident and the behaviors or actions that were taken by the teacher when managing this incident. Going back to that incident report form, if we could click the location tab, we would be able to see that there are many locations on there, such as classrooms, the gym, the library. However, one of the options is off campus, and this would include field trips as well as work experience placements. Additionally, we would see the other locations, and this would include our building trades classroom, student-run cafe, drama locations where students are practicing, such as the Young Assembly Hall, the Little Theater, or the Old Chapel. Now, let's take a look at some of our data. First, we will review the data according to location. So this slide here is showing us the 21-22 school year. Over here, we see where reports were submitted according to location. In looking at our chart, we can see the majority of the incidences this school year occurred within the classroom. After that, we see the hallways being the second most common place for incidents to occur. Then right here, that would be the school gym. And here, that would be part of our residential area, a common living area. Moving into the 22-23 school year, we see the majority of the incidents occurring in the classroom, again, in the hallway, and then in the gym. Moving into the 23-24 school year, we see the continued pattern of the majority of the incidents occurring in the classroom and in the hallway. Looking at what is happening this school year, we have collected data from September until December of 2024. You can see that the pattern continues and that the majority of the incidents are documented from within the classroom and in the hallways. However, this year, we see a good number of incidents being reported in the cafeteria as well as in one of those other locations. As we saw from reviewing the data, that the majority of incidences here at the school occur in two major areas, those being the classroom and the hallway. With that being understood, now we need to come up with solutions to address these behaviors. Before our meeting this afternoon, I previously met with the teachers and staff of the school. I asked them for their feedback on the data that was presented and what we can do to help our students. Here are the questions that I posed to them. Why do most of the incidents occur in the two locations, the classroom and the hallway? What needs to be done to lower the number of incidences occurring in these areas of the school? If there were materials or resources or trainings that they felt that we needed? And how can positive behavior intervention and supports, our PBIS program here at the school, be used to address where the incidents are occurring? If you are unfamiliar with PBIS, that is the behavior system that we are using here at the school. This system rewards positive behaviors that are shown by the students. Since this is a tiered system, all students start on Tier 1. Again, that is when we see a student doing something positive, something that we are trying to get all of the students to do, we reward that behavior. If students are struggling, they may move to Tier 2 in this. This is a tailored program for that student to help them, to get them on track for being brought back down to Tier 1. If students are struggling on Tier 2, there will be a meeting with our school team in order to possibly bring them to Tier 3, where even more interventions are provided. Note that if I was meeting with the board, I would have teacher feedback to share with the members. Now, moving on to the types of incidents that are occurring on campus. Remember, there was a drop-down bar for that on our incident report forms. If we could click that, we would see that incidents include bullying, disrespect, defiance and insubordination, abusive language and profanity, inappropriate behavior, disruption, lying and cheating, property damage, forgery, and theft. There are a good number of others that are also included in that drop-down box. So now onto our data. You can see this chart looks very similar to the location data chart. This one is all of our types of behavior that we are seeing. Over on the side again, this lists all of the different types of options that teachers have picked. We can see that the top type of incident report that is filled out is for our first column here, abusive language and inappropriate language, while this column here is for inappropriate behavior. Here, where it's number 10 reports have been completed here, this is for defiance or insubordination. Moving on to the 22-23 school year, the first thing you may notice is the number has increased in each column. I think this may be due to moving from partially remote or having students who were remote in 21-22 to having all of the students back on campus. With that being said, we see the highest number of incidents in this column here, which is disrespect. Over here, this is our abuse of language and appropriate school language, followed right here by defiance and then inappropriate school behavior. We see similar trends during the 23-24 school year, with inappropriate language, profanity being the highest number of incident reports, followed by inappropriate school behavior and disrespect. Now to take a quick look at where we are for the 24-25 school year. The data that's been collected since September through December. We can see again the highest number of incidents is at abusive language, inappropriate language, profanity, followed by again disrespect. Over here, this is the other behavior category. Now this could be a variety of things. Could be sleeping in class. It could be slamming lockers. So this could be a variety of behaviors. Then we see right here, again, inappropriate behavior. It'll be interesting to see how these trends continue through the remainder of the school year. Now, taking a quick look back at the data that we just looked at, we can see that the top incidents in these areas include abusive language, disrespect, inappropriate behavior, and defiance and insubordination. So now we think about again, how can we address these types of behaviors and what do our teachers need in order to limit the types of behaviors that they're seeing? Again, when I met with teachers prior to this meeting, I asked them several questions. The first is, how are these behaviors managed in the classrooms? I asked them to reflect upon how TCI, or therapeutic crisis intervention strategies, are used to de-escalate the situations occurring. Then I asked them if PBIS can be tied to addressing these behaviors. And lastly, again, I asked them what materials, resources, or trainings are needed. If you are unfamiliar with therapeutic crisis intervention, or TCI, this is a program that we use here at the school to manage when incidences occur. I included this picture over here of the iceberg because oftentimes behaviors occur and we're not really sure why these happen. And in order to address why these behaviors are happening, we have to know what is occurring under the surface. So we see the student acting out like the top of our iceberg, but we don't realize that there's so much more happening underneath, just like the idea of the iceberg. TCI helps in several ways. First, it teaches teachers and staff how to manage the behaviors. It provides several strategies, ways to address students, how to manage and safely handle the situation. Once a student is de-escalated, we then are able to use TCI strategies to teach new behaviors, coping skills. And these strategies are applied for teachers and counselors and all members of the St. Mary's community. Now that we have this data, where do we go from here? How do we ensure that all of our students are getting what they need? So here are some of the things that we can do in response to this data. First, that is to provide continuous training for our teachers and staff, and that is in the areas of TCI, PBIS, and learning new classroom strategies and management skills that can be used. Next, we need to develop a plan for monitoring the hallway since many of our incidents are occurring in that area. Also, I think it's important that we review our incident report forms and really taking a look at some of those general areas such as other locations and really trying to figure out better ways to identify the locations in the school. Right now it's crucial that the teachers really give a detailed description of the incident and where it occurred so that if they're checking other locations, other behaviors, we know exactly what happened. Next, I think it's important that as a team, with our crisis management team, with our teachers, our school counselors, all of us sit down and really focus on managing student behavior and looking at what teachers need in order to manage behavior better within the classrooms and in the hallways. And then, if possible, consult with a behavior specialist. See what they can offer, provide opportunities for learning for our teachers with this behavior specialist. And lastly, we want to look at what we can do with this data. And as the school year continues, continue to collect and monitor this data. And as we do that, we will be better able to help students and manage students who are struggling and need additional supports and helps throughout the school day and in the dorm. We are able to plan more effectively and efficiently for these students. We should be able to identify them quicker because we have access to the data to show who these students are, where these incidents are occurring, what type of behavior is occurring, and possibly even what interventions work the best for them. We would like to start developing behavior reports, very much like a 5-week report where we would gather information and see how a student's doing throughout every 5 weeks of the school year, we could do this with the behavior data. If we had a possible system that would be better able to, in real time, collect the data as reports are being submitted, we would be able to see which students are having a greater struggle in classes and be able to address that throughout the 5-week period. We'd be able to determine if new therapies are needed, possibly using mindfulness and meditation, art therapy, music therapy, things like that for some of our students really may be beneficial to them. And like I mentioned before, using PBIS as a system of collecting data. They do have a system for tracking incident reports. That may be beneficial for us to be able to collect data in real time to quickly address any problems or needs of students in a timely fashion. That concludes all of the information and all of the data that I would like to share with you today. At this time, I would love to answer any questions or provide any information that I can to you. Note, if this was a real presentation, this would be the time that I would field any questions from the board before presenting my contact information. Thank you.